welcome to Take Steps Plus Virtual. Let's give a warm welcome to Danielle Snelson.
Hey everyone! So good to see you back here again. Last month's rally was so exciting, and I'm truly honored to be part of today's Take Steps Plus Virtual. There are 55 walks from all over the country participating in Take Steps Plus Virtual today. We'd like to recognize the top 3 teams from each of those walks. You'll see them right next to me. Over the past few weeks, I have been in awe of our IBD community's incredible patients, caregivers, and supporters, as I am sure you are too. So, speaking of an incredible patient, I am pleased to introduce my illustrious co-host and longtime IBD warrior, Rondell Damalisi.
Virtual with you, Danielle. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 12 years old. I've been walking and fundraising for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation for 26 years and have been proudly working at the foundation for almost 10 years.
Wow, Rondell, your passion is truly inspiring. And it's really remarkable that you've personally raised over $422,000 for the foundation to date. But we know, however, it truly takes a collective effort to discover cures. You're going to hear from all of our incredible honored heroes throughout today. These individuals are certainly relentless in their efforts to raise funds and awareness for Take Steps and IBD.
This has been a challenging time in our world, and though we've had to miss out on sports and graduations, weddings, and other important life events, we will not miss out on coming together to celebrate this incredible IBD community.
You're so right, Rondell. Take Steps is way too important to miss. A huge benefit of hosting this event virtually is that participation isn't just limited to the 55 virtual walk communities. Really, anyone nationally and even globally can take part, which also means that our patients can safely participate from home.
Take Steps is the largest nationwide fundraising event supporting the mission of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation to cure Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis and to improve the quality of life for patients and their loved ones.
And I know that there is a $600,000 matching gift for all funds raised. So anything raised or donated today is an opportunity to double your impact.
So let's get to know you. Tell us your team name and where you're walking from today in the chat. And if you want to see your photo featured on our screen, don't forget to use hashtag #WhyITakeSteps or text it to the number on the screen.
Want to unlock any private account you have if you want to see your photos today on the screen.
I see Laura Diener is watching.
Oh, and Carol is from Houston. Thanks for joining us today.
Ellen Miller, thanks for tuning in from Syracuse.
Awesome. Joe is from Central Ohio.
And I see Barbara coming in from Michigan, who's walking for her granddaughter.
Oh, that's awesome. And Kenna is from Arizona. Hey, Kenna.
Oh, we've got Mark McNamara coming in from Portland, Team Great Bowels of Fire.
That's awesome. Crap Man from Michigan. That's great.
And we've got Melissa coming in from Long Island, Team Gone Fistula.
Oh, awesome. We have Crystal from Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Team Braun. Thanks for joining us.
We've got Scott here from Team Maggie in Philadelphia. Man, they're coming in from all over the country, Danielle.
That is so amazing. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Well, we entered 2020 with 89 walks and an $11 million collective goal. The 55 walks that are going virtual today account for $6.7 million of that goal. We still have 34 walks taking place through the end of this year, hopefully in person if safe to do so. We have raised $4.3 million to date. So as you can see, we still have some work to do. But we know between the match today and your continued efforts to push your fundraising, we can still reach our goal before the end. Do you need a little extra motivation to keep you going? Here you go.
I am proud to be helping to raise funds to try to find a cure for my Crohn's disease. If I can do it, I know you can too. Cannonball!
And I am fundraising for Take Steps, and I may be little, but I'm making a big difference. Bye.
Thanks, Imani and Mags. It's not just teams who contribute crucial funds to our mission. Take Steps has amazing sponsors, both nationally and locally, whose generosity each year has a substantial impact.
So let's give a special thanks to our national gold sponsor, AbbVie, for their generous support. Our national silver sponsor, Takeda. Our national bronze sponsor, Janssen. Our national bronze sponsor, Quilted Northern. And our national sponsor, Poopery. We are also so grateful to our 415 local sponsors for all 55 walks, especially our local presenting sponsors. Corporate support accounts for 20% of all Take Steps funds, so it is crucial to our mission and raising awareness. Let's show those corporate supporters some love. In the comments, shout out your corporate team while we celebrate their unwavering commitment. And now, let's hear from one of our longtime national corporate team's executive champion.
Hi, I'm Todd Katz, Executive Vice President with MetLife. I'm proud that my company has a strong partnership with Take Steps. We bring together hundreds of employees in 5 markets across the country to support the foundation. Our employees' dedication and commitment amazes me each and every year. Corporate support takes many different forms: sponsors, walk teams, committee members, in-kind donations, volunteers, and has had many benefits for companies like ours: increasing employee morale, representing our company in the community, leadership opportunities, and so much more. It also creates a way to support our internal patient community. Take Steps has hundreds of partners across the country. I'm glad my company is one of them. And I'd like to personally thank every Take Steps corporate partner for their returning and new commitments during these challenging but critical times. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd, so much. The dedication of the corporate community, including our corporate campaign chairs, it's inspiring. Let's show a little of our appreciation for 2020 corporate campaign chairs. Their leadership has ensured that momentum remains high by encouraging companies to stay involved, get involved, or increase their commitment, all while recruiting even more volunteers to help lead the way.
While some of you joining us today understand all too well the impact of IBD on your life, many of you might not fully understand how Crohn's and colitis affects every aspect of a patient's life.
What I would want people to know about living with Crohn's or colitis is that a lot of times it gets labeled as just a restroom issue. And it's a lot more than that. It can affect your mental health, your financials, your social life. I mean, the list goes on and on.
I just want people to know that you might not be able to tell by someone's appearance that they suffer from Crohn's or colitis, but it's true. So just don't judge other people by how they look.
I think, when everyone's going through difficult times, not only is it very difficult physically, but there's also, a mental aspect that, for me, makes that really, for me, destroys me.
So for me, I was diagnosed 5 years ago when I was in 7th grade. And at that point, I was really sick for basically my entire school year, and just kind of be taken out of middle school like that. I just not be able to do it with my friends. It was really just kind of a tough time for me.
First of all, financially, just the burden of financially that these illnesses take a toll on And then also from a time standpoint, my mom has given countless hours of finding new cures and new medicines and new diets for me to try, and I'm just so incredibly grateful for them.
I was in a really bad flare. I ended up needing to quit the job that I had held almost nearly 10 years. 2 months after that, I endured a hole in my colon, and I was hospitalized for a little over a week for that. And then about a month after that, in end of August, I was having a total colorectal surgery, and it left me with an ostomy for the rest of my life.
As a patient myself, I also understand the impact of IBD. At 12 years old, I had to process that I would have a disease I had never heard of for the rest of my life. I remember the embarrassment of having to use my permanent bathroom pass in junior high school and still not always making it in time. I shopped at children's clothing stores into high school because I was under 5 feet tall, weighed about 75 pounds, and had not yet gone through puberty. I was told I may not graduate because I had too many tardies on my record from the pain and nausea I experienced in the mornings. I missed a night of my high school musical because I was sick. I took mountains of pills, had too many hospitalizations to count, and had 7 surgeries before I turned 35. Anxiety and chronic fatigue have plagued me throughout. But because of your support through events like Take Steps and the incredible progress we are making, I now believe I may not have to live with IBD for the rest of my life.
Thank you, Rondell, for sharing your story. This is exactly why we take steps to support our IBD community and connect and do something, and also raise crucial funds to improve quality of life and to find cures. So, seeing your team spirit is a huge part of what makes Walk Day so inspiring and so fun. So we really want to see yours. We would love it if you would take a selfie in your team gear or take steps swag and post with hashtag #WhyITakeSteps or text the number in your screen. So hey Rondell, you ready to check in with our walkers today?
Ready.
Awesome.
All right, I see Keith Bloom is checking in with us.
Jenny says, hey everyone! Looks like we've got a lot of pictures coming in through our screen, and I'm loving all of these shirts, and I love the families. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
We got a shout out for the Western Washington healthcare sponsors. I love it.
Well, and just in case you don't have one of these cool t-shirts, you still have till, I believe, the end of the month here to get yours by raising $100.
Right. And hey, there's other great incentives too. If you raise up to $1,000, you can get a cool duffel bag, a beach blanket for $5,000. There's even a pop-up beach tent for $10,000.
I think that one's my favorite.
Yeah, totally. To the beach. I got a shout out for Team Hyphen. Oh, and a big thank you for one of our big corporate sponsors, Janssen. Fantastic. Well, remember everyone, you have until July 11th to individually fundraise and earn all of these great incentives we've been telling you about. And you can see photos of all of them on our website.
It is so great to see all the team spirit that you guys have. Patients rely on the love and support of their caregivers who play a crucial role in their lives. Being a patient is challenging, and so is watching someone you love suffer with Crohn's or colitis while being there every step of the way. To all of our caregivers, we want to say thank you.
This is my daughter Emily here. She has Crohn's disease and was diagnosed at 9. One of my biggest things as a father It was difficult watching my daughter be sick and feel like there's nothing I could do about it.
My caregivers mean the world to me.
My caregivers mean the world to me.
My caregiver means a lot to me.
To me, my caregivers mean everything. They've been with me every step of the way, and without them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
My caregivers to me would be my family and my husband, and they have seen me cry so many times, and they just give me the best hugs and tell me everything will be okay.
My caregiver is my husband. He has been with me through my entire journey. He is my light, my joy, and makes me laugh when I want to cry, and is by my side every step of the way.
They've taken me to all my doctor's appointments, slept over during my hospitalizations, and they really empower me to view my IBD as a strength instead of a weakness.
I was basically in the hospital from January to March, and my parents ended up taking off work from January till June, and I was out of school.
My caregivers is my mom, my dad, and my sister, and everyone in my family, and they've been really, really great during when I have to stay in the hospital or something's going on.
They would always keep me comforted, they would comfort me and make sure that I was gonna get my schoolwork done, and even though I would be in the hospital a lot.
My caregiver is my mom, and I am so thankful for all of her support and for her being by my side and holding my hand through every infusion and blood draw and sleeping on the uncomfortable beds next to me when I'm in the hospital overnight.
Well, my first caregiver was my mom when I was diagnosed at 22. She was with me at every doctor's appointment, and almost 17 years later, she still wants to come with me to every doctor's appointment.
I would just say thank you for believing in me.
I would not be where I am without her.
I just love my mom and dad.
This entire community is filled with those who have sacrificed for patients, and without you, we would not be here today. Everybody, let's show our appreciation for all the caregivers out there. Comment now, which I've seen you've been doing already, with a photo of your caregiver, their name, and a message of how much they mean to you. You can also text the number on your screen. But I see a whole lot of families. Just thank you to our whole family, says Tom.
I've got to give a shout out to my own mom and dad who got me through the first 10 years of my disease journey, and my husband Glenn for getting me through now.
And we see Sarah says, "Love you, Brandy."
So sweet.
So sweet.
I see Amanda saying that she and her husband are caregivers to their 12-year-old Damon.
Aww.
Thank you for being great caregivers.
And Melissa says, "Thanks, Bo. We love you too."
Rhonda is giving a shout out for her parents, Kenneth and Patricia.
And Jackie says, Kim says, "Thanks to my hubby and my family for all of their help."
Clarissa giving a shout out to her friends and family, her parish community, her coworkers, and her incredible medical team. It truly takes a village to take care of us IBD patients, I tell you.
And Mark says, "Thanks to his mom and dad."
I got it. My family has been the best from Zach.
And Keith says his wife Jackie and daughters Ronnie and Blair are always there for them.
And I've got a lot of ones coming in just saying thank you for all the caregivers. And
yes.
I agree.
Thank you guys so much for recognizing your caregiver in your life.
So now let's ask all of our caregivers, all of those of you who play a role in supporting a spouse, a family member, a friend, or a coworker with IBD, let's have you share why you take steps and who you're walking for. Let us know and post a photo of your IBD warrior in your life using hashtag #WhyITakeSteps or text to the number on the screen.
Alicia says, shout out to her honored hero who's 8 years old. That is awesome.
And I love this. Bailey says she takes steps for herself. Caregiver is her mom, and she's been amazing. Can't thank her friends and family enough.
Yes, and Deb's thanking her, Holly, her infusion nurse.
Really important, all those folks in our lives. I love this. Al is giving himself a pat on the back. My wife and I are great caregivers. I bet you.
That is great. Laura says, I love my 13-year-old Asher. He's brave, and we love him. And Christy says she walks for her beautiful cousin, Kayla.
I've got Maya saying, thanks to my mom, Julie, for being my biggest number one.
We really appreciate you guys taking the time to recognize the IBD warriors in your own lives.
We see all of you, and we're so glad you're here celebrating with us today. Thank you to our caregivers for selflessly providing the love and support patients need. With 3.1 million IBD patients in the US, there are 3.1 million reasons to honor our patients here with us today.
3.1 million reasons.
I have UC. I have had it for 4 years. I have been living with Crohn's for 5 years.
I have been living with Crohn's disease for 7 years.
I just wanted to say that even though we aren't walking in the way that we're used to walking in years past, it's really exciting that we get to do a virtual and we get to see people that we may not be able to see had we been doing our normal walks. We've got people from all over the country participating. So even in the face of the craziness that's going on in the world right now, we are still doing our thing. And that's one of the things that I just love about the IBD community.
I take steps because I kind of want to find a cure for everyone, and I don't want to be a parent and have to experience this with my kids. I want it to happen for one night only, not 100 nights or however many times it's going to happen.
I take steps because both my mom and I suffer from ulcerative colitis, and my mom has it much more severe than me. And she's had it for over 21 years.
For the first 12 years of my journey, I actually never spoke about my disease to anyone other than my family until I got started with the foundation. So I've learned to share my story and really build a support system around me, which is so key and vital to living with a chronic illness.
I had to go through a lot of tests and pain before I was diagnosed with Crohn's. And I also had a lot of trials and tribulations involved with finding the right medication to manage my symptoms.
I was diagnosed in 2012 during my first pregnancy. Being that was my first child, I knew that this was going to be kind of a long, challenging road.
I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease 5 years ago, and my sister just recently was diagnosed last year. And what I've learned about myself through my diagnosis and through living with the disease is just the level of resilience that comes with having a chronic illness, how every day is a battle.
Especially my brother Michael has been extremely helpful. He got diagnosed 5 years ago and I got diagnosed a year ago. And when I was first dealing with my symptoms and my diagnosis and processing it all, to have someone to go to who had already been dealing with it for so long was really helpful.
I think of where I was looking like I'm on death's bed to where I'm at now. Has just been incredible.
It's kind of cheesy, but it's true. Even though we're all honored heroes, I think we can all agree that everybody who fights through having IBD is a hero.
We still take steps.
To all the patients here today, including my co-host Rondell, you are the reason we fundraise and walk. Your strength is an inspiration to us all, and we are proud to support you.
Now, we would like to honor each of your IBD journeys, whether you're a new patient or you've been on your journey for decades. Show us how many years you have been living with IBD. You can write the number on your bib or on some paper and post a photo like mine. Do you see mine? 35 years strong, 35 years strong. Or you can write it in the comments or text it to the number on your screen.
So first, we want to acknowledge everyone who has been living with Crohn's or colitis for more than 20 years. That includes you, Rondell.
That includes me. And I've got a Mark Moses who says he's been living with it for 20 years.
And Lisa says Crohn's for 18 years. Thanks for being here, Lisa.
I've got Howard and his mom, who are both 20 plus years.
And Rebecca says she's had it for half of her life.
Wow. Stay strong.
And Joanna, 19 years strong.
I've got Lisa at 18 years.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. So who's been living with Crohn's for more than 10 years? Or let's go with 5 years.
I've got Amy and is saying that Adam has had it for 2 years, and I've got Kristen at 17 years.
Oh, wow. And Nancy's been with it for 20 years. Victoria has had it for 9 years, and she will be 17 in August.
I've got Stephanie who's saying 11 years.
And Corey says 15 out of 16 years.
And let's see if we can acknowledge those who have been newly diagnosed just within the last year. I've got Teresa Marie.
And Fletcher, 2 years. And Michelle, 4 years.
Strong IPG community. And we're so lucky to have each other.
And
I've got Max at 2 years also.
And Shauna says her daughter Audrey has had Crohn's for 3.5 years.
Shouting out Terry, who's had the disease for 4 years and is now 13 years old.
I have Amelia, who's had Crohn's for 7 years.
We've got Katie, whose 5-year-old daughter was just diagnosed 3 weeks ago. Katie, we are here for you. I hope you're feeling that there's a whole community behind you as you navigate this new journey. So we want to thank you all so much for sharing your journeys with us. And I hope you know that you are the reason we walk. So come on, everyone, let's show our patients a whole lot of love. Tell your patients how amazing they are in the comments, and make sure to tag them if they're on Facebook.
Our healthcare professionals, GI docs, nurses, nutritionists, administrators, social workers, surgeons, they all play many meaningful roles in our IBD community. Not only are they invaluable to our patients and caregivers, but they also sponsor Take Steps. They have fundraising teams, and they serve as healthcare honored heroes.
I take steps because I am committed to helping to advance science through research to improve the care of our children.
Every day I'm doing research which is missioned by one important point, which is just find new treatments and new cures. And the Take Steps initiative is extremely vital in raising those funds to help people like me do the work that's needed to put those building blocks together, and we'll end up with a cure one day.
And I would just say thank you. Because of Dr. Dean Palmer, I'm here. He saved my life, and he truly is my angel. So thank you.
Thank you for explaining everything to me. Like when he has the conversations with my mom, they usually use like very high terminology, and he helps me understand it by putting it into lower terms.
It meant a lot to me because when I was about to have surgery, I was really scared.
and nervous. And I remember that my surgeon took out their notepad, flipped to the back, and drew out a picture of exactly what an ileocolostomy was for me, because I didn't know, and it made me feel a lot better to be able to see it.
They found a way to really bring me back from a really scary, really bad place as far as my health was concerned.
All right, so our health caregivers, let's hear from you in our comments. If you're a patient, shout out your healthcare professional heroes, or if you are a healthcare professional, let us know you're watching and tell us who you are.
Ronnie says, thank you, Dr. Renee, at the Nebraska Med Center.
I've got a shout out from Kristen from Mount Sinai in New York City.
And Lisa says, thank you to the Michigan Medicine, Dr. Singer.
I've got Dan, who's given a shout out to Dr. Bass at Children's Mercy and the whole IBD team at Kansas City Children's Mercy.
And Jeff says, thank you, Dr. Myron Brands.
I've got a shout out from Carrie to Dr. Hamilton.
And Chelsea says, Dr. Robinson with Austin Gastro.
Oh my gosh, Lisa is shouting out a whole crew. We've got Nitin Gupta, Tom Ullman, Neil Schamberg, and so many other amazing doctors.
And Lisa says, shout out to Dr. Claire Wilson. He's retired, or she's retired, but she gave us a lot of answers.
And Michelle is shouting out Dr. Burgess and then their nurse Robin at UCSF San Francisco.
And Amy says, thank you, Dr. Conrad, and all the workers at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital.
Oh, I love this one. We've got Laura, who is shouting out Dr. Gutierrez at WashU, but she is also a pediatric nurse practitioner herself and a patient. Thanks so much, Laura, for coming at us on both sides.
And Carol says, all the docs at Texas Children's Hospital. Thank you.
So one of the other ways that our healthcare professionals support our patients is by volunteering at our annual Camp Oasis. I was lucky enough to be a camp counselor for 2 years, and I can personally speak to the incredible impact this program has on our pediatric patients. Dealing with IBD as a child can have even greater challenges, and that is why the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation proudly established Camp Oasis exclusively for children with IBD over 15 years ago. This year, to keep our campers safe, Camp Oasis is taking place virtually throughout the summer, launching just this past week. We want to give you a huge thanks to all of our campers across the country who have been joining in to support Take Steps.
Now, our campers, as well as the counselors and all the camp volunteers, are advocates for the foundation all year long. They speak about our impact, they serve as honored heroes, and are always promoting the foundation's mission. To date, we have more than 135 teams formed by campers, and they have raised over $221,000. Congratulations to our camper teams currently in the top 5. Adams Wolverines, Colon Coasters, Madeline's Mob, the Incronables, and hashtag Team Cordelia. Camp Oasis of Michigan is currently leading the fundraising efforts with Camp Oasis of Washington in 2nd place, and Camp Oasis of Minnesota in 3rd place. Campers have special incentives they can earn with their fundraising until August 31st, so keep up all that great work.
And we are still accepting campers to join the Camp Oasis Fund all summer long. If you're interested, you can register on our foundation website under Get Involved. Thank you to all of our campers.
Take Steps has raised more than $100 million since our inception in 2008. Those funds have been put to good use funding research, education, advocacy, and patient services. And none of this would have been possible without you.
In 2019, the foundation invested in 200 research projects. And since our inception, we have made a total investment of $384 million.
I'm so grateful to be on the first virtual Take Steps walk with you today because the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation is committed to identifying cures for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis and to improving the lives of patients and families suffering with these diseases until we do. As a volunteer for more than 30 years, I currently have the privilege of serving as the chair of the National Scientific Advisory Committee. As an investigator, working to understand the causes and treatments and preventions for these diseases, the more than $560 million raised by the foundation over the past 53 years have been important for our research and for the mentoring of the next generation of researchers and clinicians. As a doctor, the foundation's been a vital partner in supporting the education of my patients and their families and a tireless advocate on their behalves. Whatever your reasons for walking today, you can be confident that the dollars you raise will continue to support the search for cures while improving the lives of those with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis.
Thank you, Crohn's and Colitis fundraisers, for all the hard work you've done to bring in all these resources for us to do the class project, the wearable tracker for patient responses to tracking IBD flares here at UT Dallas. Thank you very much.
My laboratory has studied an enzyme in the brain for several decades, but a few years ago, it was discovered that this same enzyme is highly upregulated in the GI system of patients that have Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Through the financial and intellectual support of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, my lab has now developed a gut-restricted inhibitor of this enzyme that completely attenuates this overactive enzyme. In multiple animal models of inflammatory bowel disease, we and others have now shown that this enzyme can robustly alleviate the symptoms of IBD and even block its occurrence in genetic models. The foundation is now supporting our development of this drug so that we can take it into clinical trials for really the ultimate test to see if it aids patients with this disabling disorder. All of this wouldn't be possible without you, the fundraisers and the donors who fuel the foundation's efforts. So a large thank you to you for making our research and our drug discovery efforts possible. Your support is making a big splash!
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Osso, President and CEO of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. I do want to begin by acknowledging that we are currently dealing with two major crises in our country. The COVID-19 pandemic, of course, and also the way that systemic racism pervades our society. I know there is no easy solution to either of these challenges, and many of you and our fellow Americans have and are suffering because of both of these crises. I want to say I'm sorry for your pain and sadness, and certainly for all who have lost loved ones in these struggles. Thank you for lending your support to the IBD community in the midst of so much. And I must also say it's been so inspiring seeing all of you participating today, and I want to pause and reflect on the accomplishments we just saw. These are absolutely incredible, and in no way would they have happened without your support. I want you to hear exactly how you're impacting our patients' lives for the better.
The fact that we are all in isolation from each other, and yet I somehow feel surrounded by amazing IBD community members is something that wouldn't be possible without the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
I think the Crohn's and Colitis is really important to me because it provides a large sense of community through all the programs that they provide.
There's so many things that I think inspire me in this community, but one of the biggest things and maybe most important, at least in my world, are the individuals that I've met through being a part of the foundation.
One thing that inspires me is seeing kids, like teenagers who are around the same age as I am, who also have the same disease, IBD, who are doing well.
What I think people should know is that it doesn't really change who you are. Like, you just need to stay yourself and make sure that you're just staying yourself and like, don't let anybody change you.
If I could tell myself anything when I was first diagnosed, I would definitely remind myself that even though the word chronic is really scary, it doesn't mean that I'm defined by my illness.
And to have a better quality of life, I think is something we could all appreciate because we struggle with it on a daily basis. So I think that's what kind of drives my passion into finding a cure.
There's so much great research that's bringing new treatments for our patient population. So keep doing what you're doing. Get the research going so that we can have treatments available to us for as long as we live.
And I think that I'm inspired to handle my disease so that I'm able to kind of be a role model for others who have the disease, but also know that they're not alone in their journey.
I think one thing that I was able to accomplish that I didn't think I was able to after I was diagnosed was I was able to continue dancing on my high school's dance team and compete in all of our competitions this past season.
One thing I'm most proud of is being able to have a baby.
So if I could go back and tell my 11-year-old self what I know now, I would tell him it's not going to be easy, but you're going to be stronger and better than you ever had before. You're going to dream bigger. You're not going to allow your diagnosis to derail you, but allow it to dare you to dream more than you ever have. And so just to encourage them and let them know that life is going to be still full of so many promising things.
I am so inspired by all of these patients and so many of the comments that I've seen all for the last 40 minutes. So thank you all. And we especially need to thank our nationwide top teams who go above and beyond through fundraising efforts and outreach. So please note your fundraising total might not be up to date as totals were pulled as of June 15th. And so any team that raises $10,000 or more will receive an invitation for 2 members to join an exclusive virtual research reception with myself and, more importantly, foundation-funded researchers. So for those of you who haven't yet met your team goal or started fundraising, there is still plenty of time. You have until the end of fall to continue fundraising. The foundation hasn't been immune to the impact of COVID-19 on our fundraising efforts, but we know that a cure is still the most important thing for the 3.1 million patients that we serve. That's why our original 2020 Take Steps goal, $11 million, has not changed. If anything, during this time, our patients have needed our resources more than ever. Since March, foundation website traffic and downloads of our educational materials has increased 5-fold. Calls received by our IBD Help Center about COVID-19 have surged, and our educational programs via Facebook Live have dramatically increased participation, some by 1,200%. And yes, that's actually a real number. So your funds are making a difference today in patients' lives, and I thank you for that. The 2 simplest and most effective ways to fundraise are: 1, start a Facebook fundraiser. The average raised per participant is $750. Or 2, email your personal fundraising page link, and do it again if you've already taken that step. Our staff is delighted to help you with anything you need to start or continue your fundraising efforts. All right, so I would like to join Danielle and Rondell to count us down so we all can go walk. But don't forget to tag photos of yourself walking using #WhyITakeSteps for a chance to be reposted. And to jumpstart our walking, right after the countdown, American Idol's Casey Abrams, who's also an ulcerative colitis patient, and Los Angeles honored hero Alice Ping have written a song for you. So now everyone across the country, let's all count down together.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
a 2, a 1, 2. Oh, it takes steps for you and me. We're taking steps to help cure IBD. For those who are new, we'd like to welcome you to the IBD community. Oh, it takes steps for you and me. One day Crohn's and colitis will no longer be. Take steps for a cure. There's so much we endure, though most of it you cannot see. Oh, it takes steps for you and me. And this year we'll be taking steps virtually. And on the 20th of June, well, you can take steps too, with your allies, friends, and family. Can't wait to see you. We can't wait to see you. So take steps with me. 1, 2. Oh, it takes steps for you and me. We're taking steps to help cure IBD. For those who are new, we'd like to welcome you to the IBD community. Oh, it takes steps for you and me. One day Crohn's and colitis will no longer be. Take steps for a cure. There's so much we endure, though most of it you cannot see. Oh, it takes steps for you and me. And this year we'll be taking steps virtually. And on the 20th of June, well, you can take steps too, with your allies, friends, and family. Can't wait to see you. We can't wait to see you. So take steps with me.